The ideal parent figure method seems to be, for many people, a very effective way to move an attachment style from an insecure attachment style towards a secure attachment style. And it seems to be more effective at doing that than many forms of healing and many forms of therapy that are out there currently. And whereas many of those other healing methods and therapies can do a lot to help make an insecure attachment more manageable and learn skills to work with and cope with those things in the present day, which is fine. That's very important work. The ideal parent figure method seems to do more to actually move the needle of from insecure to secure, so that when you wake up in the beginning of the day, there's not a whole series of steps that you have to go through to get into a secure state of mind. It's just what your mind naturally gravitates towards. And so I get asked a lot, why is it so effective at doing that? And why is that different from other kinds of healing and other kinds of therapy? Um, so there's two main reasons that from my point of view. One being that it works directly with the behavioral memory, which is where the attachment style is is housed. That's where its home is in the psychological system, is in the behavioral memory. And the other is that it creates a more reliable, secure base than other forms of healing, coaching, and therapy. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. So first, working with the behavioral memory. Now there's two kinds of memory. There's your behavioral memory and your narrative memory. Your narrative memory is what most healing and therapy works with. Anything that you can remember, reflect on, and talk about is your narrative memory. And those are all memories that developed from 4 years of age and onwards. So if you can, like internal family systems, a lot of people who are into ideal parent figures are also into internal family systems. And there is a kind of reparenting that can happen in internal family systems where you remember a harmful memory, and then you go back and reparent that part of you, that child that was hurt, and you are a good parent to them. You give them the reassurance that they need, and that's good. But because it's working with an actual memory in your life that you can go back to, that's still accessing the narrative, using the narrative memory. And when you're talking to all of your parts in the present day, that's all narrative memory as well. Now, that's really important. That's developing metacognition. That's developing healthy attitudes and mindsets and perspectives as an adult, and probably can move the needle of attachment style as well. But the behavioral memory is not something you could ever possibly remember. You can't remember anything that happened in your behavioral memory. Your behavioral memory is what was established in your first 2 or 3 years of life, and that is when the attachment system was developed. So what's the difference between the behavioral memory and the narrative memory? The behavioral memory are memories in the body. They're patterns of emotions, ways of relating to people that are not things that you think about or are aware of, but they're the automatic patterns that come up. And that is where the attachment system is established. Your attachment system is not something where you are thinking about, I'm scared of this. I'm scared of getting too close to this person, so I'm going to run away. Or I am afraid that person is going to abandon me, or something like that. That's not coming from thoughts and memories and things like that. It's coming from ingrained patterns in your body. And so it's really hard to change those patterns in the body working through the narrative memory. So the ideal parent figure method, you go back and you reimagine an entirely new childhood. And with ideal parents who were perfectly suited to you and your nature. And you're using this imagination to create a felt sense in the body of what secure attachment feels like, what high confidence and high self-esteem feels like. And so it's developing this felt sense pattern of security. That felt sense pattern of security, when practiced and developed over time, is what developing a new attachment style looks like. So if it's something that you go back and think about and get perspective on, that's the narrative memory. And that's most forms of healing and therapy. If it's going back to memories that you have and reworking them, that I don't know for sure, but that seems to be part narrative and part behavioral. But in the ideal parent figure method, it's really focused on getting the felt sense of secure attachment and then practicing that felt sense. And then over time, with practice and development, the mind starts to naturally go towards that felt sense in the body. And those positive, secure felt senses start to come up automatically in situations. So then when someone that you're intimate with, someone you have a close connection with, comes towards you, they're vulnerable with you, they're forming intimacy with you, the first initial instinct is connection, rather than the first initial instinct being run away or get nervous and get overly close or something like that, and losing your sense of self. So it's going back to the very root of your attachment style and reworking the patterns from there. Now, the second point that I talked about is that ideal parent figures is a more reliable, secure base. So in many attachment-based forms of therapy, the reason why it's can be effective at helping someone move from an insecure attachment style to a secure attachment style is based on the secure relationship with the therapist or the coach, the person who's facilitating them through this work. They establish a secure relationship there, see them as the secure base, and then the mind, the attachment system, can start to generalize that feeling to other relationships in life. And same thing, one of the best ways to move from an insecure attachment style to a secure attachment style is to get into a romantic relationship or a close, intimate relationship, even if it's a friendship, with someone who has a secure attachment style. Because having that person as a secure base and as a model for secure attachment, that helps the mind to generalize that relationship to other relationships in life. Now, there's some issues with that. One, romantic relationship, they can break up with you. A therapist or a coach or a facilitator, they're only available to you usually when you're paying them. So that's going to be during one session a week. And in both of those cases, those are humans with flaws who, while they may be good to you most of the time, they have flaws and they can be unreliable. And that can really, really hurt if someone is trying to go from insecure attachment to secure attachment, and then another human being exhibits their flaws and then creates uncertainty and in the relationship, and then you end up reverting back, back a few steps. With ideal parent figure methods, it's entirely you. The primary attachment relationship is not with someone outside of you. The primary attachment relationship is with the imaginal ideal parent figures that you create yourself, with the support of a facilitator or a therapist or what have you. And so that is much more reliable because they're in your imagination. They're actually fully under your control. And that is, they're perfect, ideal, non-human beings who can never let you down. And so in that way, they're much more stable. They're also much more available because you can listen to the recordings of your ideal parent figure sessions every day or even multiple times a day, however much is useful to you without you getting oversaturated with the treatment. And so rather than just going to a session once a week and having that 1 hour exposure to secure attachment, you have access to that exposure to secure attachment as often as you'd like. And so that increases the time in that secure relationship from 1 hour a week to 7 hours a week, 10 hours a week, or more and more and more. And so that is a reason that alone is a big benefit over many methods that are out there. Just the amount of time that is possible for you to be involved in that, with that secure base and with the method. So those are the two main reasons that I see why ideal parent figure method is overall more effective than many forms out there for actually changing an insecure attachment style from insecure to secure. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to look for more information, ask questions on the ideal parent figure subreddit. I'll put a link down below. And that's it. Thanks very much and have a great day.